other CFOs. Try and keep an open mind and listen to what people say instead of just doing it, you know, the old way.
And what would you say the achievements that you're the most proud of in your role?
Well, over the last 2 or 3 years, well actually for 30 years, one of our goals has been to expand our membership while still staying true to our credit union roots. So we made a concerted effort to try and expand into the community. But our challenge was, as a federal credit union, you can either have a community charter or you can have a company charter. And Honeywell's always been our sponsor, and we've been loyal to them, so we were kind of we weren't going to give up Honeywell as a sponsor to go community. And in talking with our regulators, we found, you might want to call it a loophole, that you can keep your sponsors and go into the underserved community. Something we never really thought of because of our membership. So over a 2-year period, we worked with our regulators, a team of us, to define the underserved community we wanted to serve, which was mostly Maricopa County, Bernalillo County, and Albuquerque. Look at the banks and credit unions and SNLs which are serving them now to see if they truly are underserved. Look at the resources we could provide that weren't being provided, and then develop detailed marketing plans and business plans so that we could prove that we could serve the community. And this was a 2-year project. I kept thinking, well, okay, we made our first submission, we're going to have this next month. Well, no, then 5 submissions, and 2 years later, it was an expansion of about 2 million potential members versus we previously had about 40,000. So I went before the NCUA board at their next meeting, which got pushed back a few times, and they approved us in May of 2014. So now we're finally able to get back to the community a little bit.
That's great. What would you say the best advice is you have to offer a CFO?
Don't just go strictly by the numbers. Look at the people. Listen to what people have to say, especially the frontline people and the people who are actually dealing with members. We did that a lot more than we did back in the old days, and the number of ideas that come from that area are tremendous. They have a lot more insight, so it's really easy just to sit back and crunch the numbers and not really be in tune with what's going on.
And what's the biggest lesson the Great Recession has taught CFOs, in your opinion?
Well, I guess the obvious thing is don't assume that just because everything's going well now, it's going to be going well forever. But one of the things that we've done as far back as 1985 is try and build our capital structure. Because if you have a strong source of capital, you're protected against future uncertainties. And it has helped to provide us through some pretty troubling times over the last 5 years. We have had a strong capital position.
And tell us how you're navigating through the Affordable Care Act issues in your position.
Very slowly. I won't pretend to be an expert on it. Fortunately, we've outsourced some of our human resources to an outside company that's helping us. Some of the reporting isn't going to be applicable to us this year because we didn't have more than 50 employees in 2014, but it will be the following year, and by then some of the bugs will be worked out. So we're just kind of taking it one day at a time and using them to help us follow the regs.
What's your definition of effective leadership?
My definition would be if you can motivate people to actually want to do their job and want to come in and not do it out of fear because they want their paycheck, and you can actually see that on a day-to-day basis, and you know that you're actually making a difference and being an actual leader and taking years and years of practice.
To use a golf expression, if you could have one mulligan in life or a do-over, what would you use that for? How would you do it?
Well, getting away from the whole number crunching like I would have done longer term investments when rates were high or anything like that. When I left public accounting after a couple of years, I went into industry. This is back in 1980 before you had Facebook or social media of any kind, and I lost touch with most of the people I consider really mentors because people are always out in the field for a 2-week period, you don't see 90% of the people you work with, and then I lost touch with them. I would like to have stayed in touch because they were mentors, and a lot of the things that I still do today, I learned from those people. And I feel like 20-something years, like 30-something years later, it's too late to reach back out to them. So I wish I'd stayed more in touch and networked more with people who helped me along after college.
And what would you say your greatest challenge has been in your position over the years?
Well, in recent years, it's been the economy. Zero interest rate environment in our particular credit union is pretty much devastating to our bottom line. My biggest challenge lately has just been to kind of go with the flow, assume that rates are eventually going to increase and that the economy is going to pick up, and in the meantime come up with innovative ways to stay strong and keep our capital position strong.
Okay, next question, who inspires you?
Well, since the senior staff is sitting right there,
The correct
my first
answer
answer is going to be my boss and the senior staff.
That's not what you told us in the other interview. Okay. So what advice would you give to young professionals coming up in your industry, or the young CFOs, or the millennials, as we mentioned earlier too?
Like I said, don't strictly be bound by numbers and number crunching, and look at the human element, which is something I do a lot more now than I did when I was first starting out, because it's not about numbers, it's about people.
And obviously 31 years in your industry, in your position, you probably got a lot of great memories. What would you say is the most cherished memory that you have of your accomplishments? What are some of your proudest accomplishments?
Well, when we got the charter expansion, that was a huge deal. And like I said, we went from 40,000 to 2 million potential members. But it seemed like kind of a lackluster reaction from our board. I'll be honest. Like, no applause, no. What's wrong with everybody? And I mentioned this to my boss at one point, and he was like, "Yes." Well, at the next board meeting, they presented with a plaque that they've been working on for a month. Everybody had written everything on it, and I immediately, boy, I'm glad I didn't get any more recognition. That meant more to me than the bonus or anything else. They put a lot of thought into it and framed it, and their personal comments on there meant a lot.
That's great. So just be patient, and the awards will come, or they may be working on it.
Yes.
That's some good advice for everybody in the room. So, anything else that you want to share with the group today? And certainly you've got a really terrific number of people in finance and in the financial world. Any other words of wisdom to them, or any other thank yous you'd like to take advantage of at this moment?
Not wisdom, but I'd like to say thank you again for this unbelievable honor, and that I'm humbled by being included in this group. And the 31 years have been best years of my life. I love working for the credit union and with the staff.
Thanks very much.